Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Shoreline to Driveway. And we are looking at clearing some more of these illustrious, I hate these trees, these Chinese trees. Now, they're not all Chinese trees. We're going to flip the camera real quick. I'll show you what I'm doing. We've been slowly working on these. This is the area right here. I've been trying to thin them out a little bit, taking the easier ones first, so I can have room to drop the bigger ones so they don't get hung up. But this is the area that I would like to turn into grass. I would like to just extend this grass field back, and it's not that far. I'm throwing these trees kind of over in a little pile here, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I mean, I may eventually buck them up into smaller pieces so they can be burned in a wood fire, either in the house or an outdoor fire ring. So I'm just kind of throwing them in the hole here. And so if I don't use them, it's okay. If they want to rot in place, that'd be okay too. I don't really care what happens with them here. I would like to get them off of this area, but I don't know. That's a lesser project. So my property line kind of goes to this phone pole here and comes across. In fact, let's take a look at that and look back toward the other direction. So the line is right about here, give or take. Probably these trees here are right on the line. So looking back, what I'm trying to do, yeah, you can get a better picture of what I'm trying to do here. You see all the stumps where I've taken a bunch of trees. These are all Stairway to Heaven trees, almost all of them, except a couple in the corner there. But even those trees are kind of ugly, and they're leaning toward the sun and the power line. I'll probably take them out anyway. But they're very ugly trees. They are invasive species to the United States, and they're very prevalent here in Tennessee, but they're all over the place. They have them everywhere. Just don't like them. They're invasive. They grow fast. They snap easily. They break off easily. You can see one's broken off right there. And so I don't want them next to the structures where they can fall and do damage. And I think this area right here would just look nice if it were just cleared out. And what I'll do is I'll cut them at whatever height, but then I'll come back later and I'll cut these down closer before I do the stump grinding. That would be another project. I got to look into that to see if I can see what it would take to hire somebody to do it, or just to go rent one and do it. Now, I've heard the rental stump grinders are not real good. Like they're not the highest quality. But with these trees, they're a very soft wood, so it may not need to be a high quality grinder. And I think I'd save a bunch of money doing it myself. And I don't think it's that difficult. The access to this area certainly isn't very difficult. It's right off the road here. Some of these stumps are even, they're even partially rotten, so I think they'll grind down pretty easily. So I'm going to look to drop some of these trees here and clear a path towards the bigger ones that are closer to the building. And I think a couple of them, because of the way they're leaning, like look at this one leaning hard left, it's going to want to hit the power line. And we don't want to get into that. So what we'll have to do is probably have to cut it higher and maybe even tie a strap to it so that when it falls, the strap makes it swing in and not hit the power line. Of course, it's going to get hung up in other trees, and I'm trying to limit that because when it does, it's just extra work to cut it when it's hanging up in other trees. But we're going to take some of these smaller ones first, like probably these here that are in the tree line. I want to take it back a little further. And I just don't like these trees. If these were hickory trees or maple trees or something, I'd leave them. But they're not. It's the Stairway to Heaven trees, and it's no stairway into my heaven. So we're going to work on getting rid of these, and let me get the saw out and start hacking away here and see what we can do, clean this up. show you real quick what I'm doing. I'm not going to video all of these, it would get pretty boring. I just want to show you how I'm cutting them. You can control where these lay. You do a back cut. Well, in Florida, some of the timbermen call this a bird mouth. I've never heard of that before. In Alaska, we would just notch them, and then you come on the back side just about 2 inches higher than the bottom cut, and you cut it, and this is supposed to direct the fall that way. Doesn't always work, but you're putting the weight of the tree on this back edge, and that's forcing it to fall toward the heavy side. So this tree's pretty fragile, it's pretty thin tree. This should fall just like these others. I want it to fall anywhere over here. We just don't want it to fall over here. And then I just cut them up and toss them over the bank. So I'll give you a closer view of this from here. And hopefully the camera doesn't get hit. Sometimes it gets hung up. And move the camera because it doesn't want to fall in the right direction. This tree is small enough that I'm able to cut it. Let me back the camera up. You can see where it's hung up. If I can't push it off, I'll just cut it off. Sometimes it doesn't go as planned. I guess it makes for good video. I'm going to back the camera up over here. The other ones fell nicely. I think the weight on this one, I think I cut it too deep. Normally if we were out in the woods somewhere, I would just cut this other one and they'd both fall, but now it's pushing it to get toward the building and I don't want to do that. I'm surprised that ain't just falling. All right, we'll have to do it the hard way. That's what you don't want it to do. The cover came off the back too. So this one went all kinds of wrong. But I guess it makes for good video. It did hit the building, but it did very minimal damage. But that's exactly what it is you're trying not to do. So we had 3 of them fall nice, and then this one fell backwards, and I wasn't expecting that. That was a little odd result, but yeah, it can happen. And so that's what I did. You see what happens when they get hung up. I just cut the bottom 4 or 5 feet off, and then it will fall towards the hang up and then drop. Sometimes it will unhang itself, which in this case it did, but it unhung itself, and the weight of the tree brought it this way. And I really thought it was going to hit this tree and maybe bounce or hang up over here, but it didn't. It went right between them and went right for the structure. Fortunately, this wasn't a big tree, and because it wasn't a big tree, I wasn't overly concerned about it. But apparently I should have been a little more concerned about it. But we're going to get this tree off the building, and looks like it just bent the little front drip edge there, so not a big deal. I had that happen once before too over here. And this is what you're left with. And I just haven't gone up there with a ladder to straighten it out. There's no frame damage. It's just the drip edge got bent. And it'll bend right back up. So, damage, but minor damage. It can be fixed easily with a ladder and a pair of pliers and just bend it back up. So, never a dull moment, guys. So some things don't go as planned, but hey, maybe it makes for a great video. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. I'm sure I'm going to hear all about it. Have a good day. Shoreline the driveway. Check you next time. We're going to keep working on the trees.